Hey,
And
hey.
so I tell them, scuba in Aruba, not without my tuna. And that's pretty much how we landed the Aave deal, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense when you think of it that way. I mean,
Yeah.
thank God for that.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off, dude. I just didn't want to finish the story. Good morning, everybody.
GM or good afternoon or good evening,
yeah.
depending on where you are.
Very true. Yeah, it's a lot of afternoon stuff going on. How's everyone doing today? How you doing, Drac? They're loving your intro.
Yeah, I'm all right. We're still just getting chopped up into oblivion. I was looking at the chart, the weekly. I did want to point one thing out. We're still above the cloud, on Bitcoin, which is nice, but starting to see some wicks on both sides. So I'm crossing my fingers that it means a big move is imminent. Especially on the weekly, when you see a bunch of wicks on both sides, it means they're, pretty much just flushing everyone on both sides. So the hope is that they're still crabbing and flushing us all out and getting ready to start pressing the buy button again.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope that's what it is. They're just flushing us out. I mean, it is interesting. We're just holding above this level, dude. It's like it's hovering above the cloud. I'm not wanting to go in, dude.
It doesn't want to go in.
Wicks.
Yeah, it doesn't want to go in. So let's keep closing above that. I think that if we're looking at historical kind of stuff, if we're playing off something like this, hopefully it means that, we still got a decent sized leg up here. It's what I believe,
Yeah,
at least.
It's I mean, to be honest, the chart's not looking super sexy, super hot, but we do have a lot of catalysts going into the new year. Hopefully, I mean, it is just a play to shake us out. I'm at 13 of 7. Okay.
Control says that's a lot of red. Yeah, I know.
It is.
Green and red, it's Christmas time.
Yeah, dude, the Christmas pattern is playing out before us. Blood gang shit happening live on air. It's painful to see, dude. It's painful to see, man. I know lots of longs are getting chopped up in these kinds of conditions. Everyone trying to catch the knife, everyone trying to write it down, and it's just the volatility is insane.
Yeah, I mean, going to Ethereum, this is the 4-hour. Just just like a nice. Looks like we're back, and they flush us again. I want to look at the daily. What's that looking like here? Yeah, about the same. Getting one of these nice wicks here on each side. So, hoping that means we are about to move. It's time to move.
Inshallah, my brother. Time to start moving and commit to a direction, please. Well, the positive one, hopefully. But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's like
I'm getting whiplash, dude.
The fun thing about range is like sometimes it's easiest to trade when it is crabbing like this because you're just bouncing around in a range. But then it's like by the time you identify that it's just ranging indefinitely, you make a move and then they go, okay, now we're actually, pumping this thing or dumping it or whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, all in all, we're still recovering from 1010. We're still recovering from basically a giant short squeeze, coupled with we're still just kind of in neutral territory on some of these like financial macro things. It looks more and more like, I think Polymarket, the odds, like the pendulum swung the other way that there will be rate cuts next month. But as we've said before, it's like you get these cuts, it still takes months and months to like see any of like to have it like really have an effect that is like positive if you're, viewing us doing all this as positive. Some people don't. It's all but written, it's all but written on the wall that as people suspected in May, they'll, put their yes man in there. Who knows what's going to happen then? So there's a lot of macro stuff on the horizon. that I think still leads to like favorable conditions for assets. Also December 1st, QT officially ended. I don't think, maybe someone can correct me here, but if I recall, we're still not officially in QE. I think they've just ended QT, which means that they let stuff roll back in the bonds or something, but they're not like actively, they haven't turned the money machine on yet, the money printer.
Yeah, that's right. They're not injecting new liquidity into the market. Well, I mean, there'll be people that'll point out that they kind of are all the time, always anyway, but not in the way that we are kind of hoping or used to, I suppose. I think, how do they do this again? By bringing more assets directly onto the Fed's balance sheet.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So it's like we haven't. So like where they're at now is that like during QT, they were basically like, anything we're collecting, we're not reinvesting or anything. QT ending means, okay, we get money back. We'll just, rotate it back into bonds or whatever. But they're not like officially flooding the market yet. So, I mean, I think it's like we still have rate cuts. We still have QE, which will start at some point. Maybe they're waiting for January. Maybe they're waiting for February. I mean, I don't know what they're waiting for, but you have that. Then, like I said, there is probably going to be someone that is very, very loose with the monetary policy getting appointed when Powell's term ends in May. So,
oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that was like the stated goal. That's the stated intention. It's definitely what we're going to be seeing. Hopefully, it plays out like we'd like it to. In terms of putting more money directly into people who are willing to invest in these markets. I have an interesting, I don't know if it's an interesting theory, but here's my cope, right? So look, the consumer, the retail guy, he's dead. They shot and killed him, dude. He's dead in the street. He's lying in the gutter, bleeding out. We don't care about him anymore. Nobody cares about the retail guy anymore. What we care about is institution. We care about institutional investment. I'm not talking about me personally. I'm not talking about the Sonic network. I'm not talking about blockchains in general. I'm talking about the financial system as it exists right now, right? We're talking about monetary policy. What they want is to keep assets on an upward trajectory because that's a bit easier to do by injecting capital directly into institutions that will invest, right? And this could be good for us. One, because most of these assets are fairly institutionalized now. As we continue to institutionalize these alt assets, I mean, that's how we're going to get this kind of splash effect, right? It's seeming unlikely that, I mean, unless we get that stimulus check.
Well, and maybe people can sound off on this, right? But the thesis that we had, not me personally, but what you were seeing play out was everyone doing the ETFs and the DATs. And the idea was that when everything turns risk on, people having access to these as financial instruments, they're now risk on. So now they're going to say, oh, you're putting 3% of your portfolio in the Bitcoin. Why don't you make 1% of your portfolio this basket of more volatile crypto things? Just put like 1% in there in case you get a moonshot. And is that still the case? Like, is that still going to be a thing? It's hard to tell because it's like, since we have been like on a market downturn for a while, the ETF narrative's cooled off. You're not hearing quite as much about it. I mean, there's still a ton of them and a lot of tokens have them. But I feel like this kind of plays into the point you're making, which is if that was to play out how people think it might, then yeah, what you are looking at is you're hoping for institutional money to more pump your bags than, your coworker that's like, have you ever heard of Dogecoin?
Yeah. That's kind of the hope, right? And like how they have like the, what do you call it? The cab driver index or whatever, where it's like, there's like that famous quote. I think it was Joe Kennedy that said that he shorted the market. He opened like a big fat short in the market going into like the Great Depression or something because he was like getting his shoes shined, and the shoe shine guy was like, "Hey, what do you think about the price to earnings ratio for what was an old timey company?
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. And Joe Kennedy just like sprinted to short because he was like, if this guy's fucking talking about price to earnings ratios, then we're fucking cooked, dude. The market's oversaturated. I got a couple stories similar to like that. I've been talking to like people just around, and they're talking about playing with options in traditional financial markets. They're talking about how what is it? Meta's undervalued, all these things. So we were seeing a wave of this in crypto, but ideally, this is the kind of thing I would like to hope that we can capture is when people start getting burned on these, if they ever do, maybe stocks just continue to go up for forever. They want to play in a new field. There's also some level of bleed over happening to that too, right? Where we have people that get educated in crypto, they start liking trading it, so they pivot to stocks. We may be able to capture some market from people that are really loving playing with stocks, but want something a little bit more juicier. But we got to give them the juice to play with, right?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like the whole problem right now is what is there to offer DeFi? I mean, not DeFi. What is there to offer retail at the moment? Like I said, last run, as you were having daily headlines about Bitcoin, people were hearing about tokens, doing 1,000x and 10,000x, and there was money for people to play with, and everything was risk on. And someone might go, oh, I might like throw $100 at this and see how it goes. And then that, snowballs into whatever. And it's like with the stock market performing how it has, gold doing what it's been doing, what is it going to take to bring people into crypto? I mean, you have prediction market pretty hot. That's kind of like a big thing going on. Perps, perps are huge, like a huge meta, but I don't really know how you bring in like the normie on that. But I don't know. You have these, you have these metas where, basically, as the title of our episode says, I mean, it's like you basically just have non-KYC gambling. I can't think of much else. If I had a 7 figure stock portfolio and precious metal portfolio, why am I chasing something that has is more likely to go to zero than make me 100x?
Yeah, exactly, dude. So I think like gambling is the only thing that can save us at this point, dude. Because what does the retail user want? They want like disproportionate opportunity as a result of feeling all this squeeze on them, right? They want to be able to look at their savings account go up in some way, or take the chance, right, that I can actually, get ahead in some way. If crypto can provide that opportunity, which historically it has been able to do so for a lot of its participants, some of its participants, a minority of its participants, to varying degrees. But right now, it's really just gambling. We see it all over, dude. Polymarket success, all the sports book success. So basically, we need to get gambling on Sonic. We need to get it fun. We need to get it appealing, dude. We need to go directly to user, I think, as well.
I guess on that note, we'll pull up the S chart. This is the daily. Not much else happened here since Tuesday. We're still just kind of bouncing around in the same range. We're still below a moving average. We're holding support. Before 1010, 30 was holding nicely. I think 30 was probably the bottom if it wasn't for 1010. So yeah, we need some gambling. We need some fun stuff. DeFi is appealing to existing participants and people that came to Sonic. Obviously, a lot came because the goal was to be like the DeFi chain, to bring it back. But we need like a new meta, a new catalyst, a new killer DApp, whatever, to get people bridging over, or to possibly even get new people to, enter the market.
Yeah. And I kind of, I would really like to see, maybe I'm even working on something. You guys don't know this, but I'll just say it. We gotta get something that I think appeals directly to consumers, and maybe they can even bypass the entire crypto element, but just give them the gambling fun part. Is that illegal, dude? I don't know. I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, that's always the hard part is you're building a project and you're like, do I spend some money on lawyers or do I spend the money on audits and then just pray that nobody finds me?
Yeah, dude. Do you think so I've been seeing like some chatter about Polymarket. I was, the Polymarket furor, we might actually be reaching the top of the gambling meta. I don't know, because the fever pitch, it's reached a fever pitch. That's what people say, right? And that like people are saying all kinds of crazy stuff about Polymarket now, about these prediction markets. They're saying that every single opinion or belief will be turned into a Polymarket. Is is heaven real? Polymarket bet now. Will I survive cancer? Everything, dude. It's crazy shit. So whether or not that'll come to pass, I'm not sure. I'm not super confident. I'm sure we'll reach some kind of, what do you call that? Like inundation, where it gets like it's saturated. We'll reach a saturation limit before I think people get comfortable doing all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the upside on that meta is kind of like what I was talking about, where your odds are pretty cut and dry, 50-50 for the most part. You're either yes or no or whatever. Easy to somehow get involved or play with these, especially Polymarket, pretty easy to like get funds, get right into it. But with that meta, I do kind of get like that tinge of pump fun, where obviously not nothing lasts forever around here. So kind of like you're saying, I don't know, is it the top or is it maybe what's actually going to help bring in some of that extra money when the macro does look more favorable?
Yeah, I mean, some of the talk around it is kind of giving me those vibes of like the diamond NFT thing, right? Where it's like just so egregiously over the top. But yeah, Polymarket though, right? Does it actually have? Well, I wonder what the effect actually is on the underlying network token. It's not super great, right? Are they using their own? You bet USDC, right? Again, I'm American. I'm not allowed to use Polymarket. Okay.
I think it's back up or it's about to be up in the US, but this has been discussed as well. I've had this discussion a couple times where, when you look at the big picture, Polymarket probably actually does very little for like Polygon as a network in terms of buy pressure or whatever. But I guess in a way, I'm already surprised that they just don't have their own chain.
Token. Yeah,
you know
chain.
what I mean? I'm sure that's coming eventually, but yeah, I mean, it's more of like a like we've discussed before anyway. It's really more of like a DApp economy.
Yeah.
The market's been dominated by dApps for a while. It's not necessarily like, oh, a chain gas token is pumping and the whole eco is getting pumped, kind of like last run, which you would see, people would kind of like rotate into an eco. They wouldn't just buy like a token of a project. There would be a gas token pumping and they just go, I'm just going to like buy everything in this eco. So yeah, I mean, you're not seeing as much of that anymore.
Damn. Yeah. So we got to come up with a better scheme then, dude. We got to launch the ultimate kind of Sonic burn token kind of thing here. What you use Sonic tokens to? You got to burn Sonic tokens to enter the market, dude. How about that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that's where we're at right now. I think just looking for the next thing. Obviously, last episode the governance proposal for Beets, or I guess it's a proposal, but it's not in governance yet. I guess you would say it's in a forum, but that had come out like right when, right before we streamed last episode, and still a lot of action going on around here. It's like up to like 60 or 70 comments or something now. I don't know. It's still like a very everybody's kind of like arguing online and lots of good points for it. Lots of, good points to say nay. So this is kind of like where all the excitement is right now, is arguing about this proposal.
Yeah, so like I'm curious, what do you I there's a couple really good thoughtful responses, I would say, right? Like we got I haven't read DoctorDeFi's one yet. But looking at it here, I can kind of see that it seems to be kind of like a nice summary of the general feelings on this. It's kind of the same as like the $24 one we saw before, where there's a lot of feelings that this is like bad optics, not a good use of the funds, so on and so forth. What do you think that this hole needs to be filled, the staked S hole? Does this liquidity need to be recovered? And like, how much of a priority is that, you think, for the network?
Well, first of all, I think after reading everything and thinking of, like I said, last episode, I was just kind of soaking it, like, absorbing it all and thinking about it. And, I could see both sides of the argument. But I think I can sum it up from everything I've read from the last few days, whether it's X, Telegram, Discord, this forum. I think a lot of it is also where the funds are coming from. Because I think there was probably other ideas than taking it from what was supposed to be like in funds for incentives. And I think that's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Honestly, I tend to agree with that in terms of like probably not where the funds should come from. And maybe there should be a counter in terms of like how the funds are generated, like where it comes from, what they are. But yeah, I mean, then on past that, even you're just looking at the arguments of centralization versus decentralization. Is it picking favorites? Most people for it are saying more like you're helping like one of the most important pieces of the architecture of the chain, one of the cornerstones of I don't know. I mean, does it generate revenue for the chain? I don't think so, but I guess a cornerstone in terms of like things that people do on the chain. A lot of people lost a lot, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, man. I tend to lean towards no on all of it, really. I think it's a bit of a Pandora's box. It's I don't know.
Yeah. I guess my question is kind of more, well, I guess my follow-up question is this. So I think most people are in agreement that they do not like the terms as they are laid out, the source of the funds, how the repayment is supposed to happen. They don't feel like it's an efficient use of the tokens. They feel like it's a little bit deceptive, and that, I mean, while this was a Beets proposal and it was Lab's decision to end the airdrop and have these funds, these S be in limbo, it is kind of like, well, so what? Like, I mean, these funds are earmarked for a purpose. If you want to, it's either get rid of them or use them for the purpose. It's kind of what the community seems to have the expectation of, which I think is fair enough, right?
Yeah.
I guess my question is if this proposal was reformulated to be more of like a straight up loan,
yes,
like all of it needs to be repaid in 3 years or 2 years or something, and if it's not, then you have to relinquish so and so collateral or something, right?
Yeah, and I think that was one of the first things that caught my eye was people that were for the proposal kept saying, SWE and CETUS. Look at what happened with CETUS. And I started looking into CETUS, and it's funny because really it was exactly what you were talking about. It was more of a loan. CETUS, and the reason I pulled up to DoctorDeFi's part here, he's talking about stipulations where 10% of the revenue for however many years will go towards S, and then 10% of the treasury is going to buy S. And something I noticed on this like CETUS deal was they had to relinquish a lot. to basically make it like a real collateral loan. And they went through that process though, right? And so I tend to agree with DoctorDeFi here that I think there probably are ways that I think it would be people would maybe the people that are against it would maybe find it more tolerable if if you countered and upped some of these parts of the proposal. Because like you said, it's like, why is it only 10% of the revenue? Why is it only 10% of the treasury? You turn it into a loan situation where both parties are benefiting from it. Then maybe you can, win some more hearts and minds here.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, right? Is like, I think that's the biggest problem, right? Is it feels like no one wants to do charity right now, basically, is what it is.
Not a great time for charity.
Not a great time for charity. People want strong, harsh commitments. And while that may be unpalatable to people, it's the only way to make this swallowable. Using a lot of fucking taste language, but basically the only way to make the medicine go down is a little bit of sugar, and that sugar is going to have to be pain, right? Being like, Beets, we want 100% of your revenue to be used to burn S or something for like 6 months or some crazy amount, or you have to burn some amount of S or return some amount of S or USDC value in some amount of time, or you relinquish, I don't know, your entire treasury, or
I mean, that's
your
the thing.
tech. I don't know. I'm not in the deal room, but something's got to come up, right?
I think that it's like I said, it was just kind of ironic that everyone kept quoting this situation with Cetus, and then when you look into the situation, it was not charity. It was not charity, and their community passed it through pretty wholeheartedly. People were not against it, right? I mean, so yeah, I mean, I think that ideally, I think you probably need to tweak some of this stuff to make it make more sense. I know that Sonic's, kind of been on the record of saying like, we don't necessarily want like stakes and projects and this or that. But I don't know. I think it would make it more favorable, like I said. If S itself was able to get more value out of this. And I think that would also involve not using the airdrop tokens. I mean, I understand there's some things like, just so people that are on the fence understand, I mean, these aren't like liquid tokens necessarily, just to play devil's advocate. I mean, these aren't like just liquid tokens that are going to get slammed into the market. I mean, they got a vesting period. Still, it's still tokens, right? I mean, versus treasury.
Yeah, and I guess this is because I kind of disagree with that idea of wanting to take a stronger stake in projects or like VC or whatever, where I kind of think it is necessary as a network. Like, in my opinion, if I was in charge, I would be trying to take, but maybe I'm just a greedy little monopolist pig where I'd be trying to take little slices of everybody that comes on the network to ensure that we're aligned,
Yeah, I think alignment for sure. Because if we had gone into this situation, maybe with everyone more aligned, there would probably be a solution that was more like, I don't know. And, in Beets' defense, some people are like saying, oh, like they're bad guys or something. It's like, no, I don't think they're the bad guys. They're trying to, at the end of the day, they're trying to do something for their holders that, there are people that lost a lot of money in this event. So I don't know. Like I said, I've always been, sometimes I'm fair to a fault. I can kind of see like both sides of the argument. Like I said, I tend to lean towards, I think like worst case scenario, there needs to be a counter. Yeah. If like there needs to be a counter, or they're just, hopefully maybe voted no. I don't know.
Yeah. A couple other points here. Zorgblat brings up there's collateral damage to other protocols too. At some point, I wouldn't mind being made whole after a hack. WTF. There is also like we talk optics, but Optics, the thing I don't like about the term optics is a very PR term. Let's just be realistic. It's more just fairness, right? Just what is fair, like what is just, right? Why this one over any of the other ones is multi-chain, right? People get exploited all the time in crypto. I mean, we can't go back into the past, but again, like you were saying, it's like Pandora's box. Okay, so like next month, there's a $10 million hack on, I don't know, Blue Kirby. Blue Kirby does a hack. Okay, he comes back, he hacks us. Do we recompensate all those victims? So on and so forth.
Here's a man of reason here, Mr. Clean, our very own theme song creator. Says, I lost my S in the hack. Would love to get it back, but I'm definitely feeling conflicted. And that's the kind of, like I said, these are the kind of cases where I think a counter where the network is somehow benefiting more and the users are benefiting, and obviously Beets is benefiting. Some kind of counter with these figures tweaked might be in everyone's best interest.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is, I really appreciate Mr. Clean chiming in here, because that's another thing I want to point out is like, while Beets is benefiting from this, it's really not like, it's not going directly into their pockets. It's not like the Beets team is getting literally like a bonus or something for this. It's going directly to the affected users right now. Again, that it still doesn't change anything about the Pandora's box, right? Like I've lost money in hacks. I've not been recompensated by anybody ever, but there is precedent for other projects through crypto. I mean, it happens very regularly where there's an exploit like this and you make deals with other projects to fill the hole, usually with loan terms, just like banks do. It's normal. It's normal business practice. It's just that this particular one, people are sensitive about the source of the funding.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Chud here, Chud says they can use the tokens. They should just buy it from the market though. Hey, I mean, like I said, that's a little more of a win for all three parties, right? I mean, also with morale of a lot of people around right now.
Yeah. Elapse brings up a good point. No one would get their S back. The S would just go into locked LPs. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess you get them back in 4 years.
Yeah, it's I think it's a 2-year vest. And it's basically like STS liquidity for Aave.
Funerals, I like this joke. They should have claimed it on an airdrop marketplace over an obtuse vesting schedule. Yeah, like 15 NFTs and 20 gems. They got to go 20 different protocols to claim it. That'd be good. We had another one here. Yeah, optics-wise, largely whales. Insiders made whole here, says Zordblatt. I mean, they're still users, but again, I see your point, right? I think Yankee kind of nails it on the head. I kind of do think the proposal is a little bad, to be honest. I'm gonna disagree with him there. I do think it's kind of bad just because the terms are not like if someone were to come, if I was running a company and someone were to come with these terms, I'd be like, no, I want way more, dude. Are you kidding me? You're like lowballing me here. I want like 30%, 40%, 50%. But I don't think the proposal is bad, but it's not the time when everyone is in such a foul mood due to S performance. If everything was green and going up, there wouldn't be half the amount of anger about it as there is now. Very true.
Yeah. And that's kind of what we were saying earlier was like, it's just not an ideal moment for charity. And like I said, that's why, I think there's a way to make this all work where it's more favorable for everybody. And maybe that's the outcome.
Yeah.
Funeral says, where do I sign up for the free money glitch?
Corval.com. No, I don't even know if that's a real website.
It's corvalcash.ru.
.ru. Hell yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think this is an interesting proposal. I want to see some more counter proposals. We've got a lot of like meme proposals, people being like, I think my protocol should get all of it for so-and-so reasons.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if we got any, if we got any, let's see.
Elap's saying, maybe the better proposal would be the same amount in money, but when S is 4x the price, so it would be less S.
Like here's like an argument for it, which their argument is basically, that I mean, I've kind of already said this essentially, right? That
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's a pillar of the chain. You're also helping lending. You're helping liquidity. You're helping, you know, the Aave situation. But I don't know. Something about that. Something about the argument being like, but it's like a good thing. I just have a hard, you know, it's like because it does open that box where there have been like so many other exploits and so many other, you know, things. It's like, yeah, I still just kind of have a hard time just buying it based on like, you know, yeah, it's nice to make users whole. It's nice to get something that like benefits kind of Aave as well. But yeah, it's just like at what cost though?
Yeah. I think this is kind of like the strongest argument for the I mean, there's a separate argument here too, right? Like, so this is Beets's proposal for some use of the airdrop tokens that are in limbo. But the bigger conversation is, of course, what should be done with these regardless. If you like, forget about Beets for a minute. What should be done with this? Most people say burn. I see Elapse is saying all the leftover airdrop S should go to buy eco tokens over a period of time. I think a lot of people would like that. I think some people would like an incentive program or something to incentivize usage, maybe bring more volume back over. Yeah, so I mean, those kind of make more sense to me for the use of the tokens. But we got to get a smarty to write a big long governance proposal. And it kind of warms the cockles of my heart, dude, to see all this conversation about it, because even though we all are really, really, really upset and gnashing our teeth and pulling our hair and doing all that, we all still care, dude. Just because we care. That's why we're all arguing about this shit.
Yeah, I mean, like anything else, there are just some people that are borderline like trolling about it, but you know, there are people making like rational long form arguments for or against it. So yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how it shakes out. I don't really know. I think somebody said somewhere when it would go to snapshot, if it's going to. So I think it's relatively soon if it,
Yeah,
you know, if it's going to go to snapshot.
That's another thing I think we're all eagerly awaiting, because like I didn't even know that this governance form existed until I saw this post. I think a little bit more information on how this governance process is going to work on Sonic. I think everyone just assume it works the same as it did on Phantom, which would make sense, I suppose.
See, this is why you need Yankee to like write one of these, right?
Yeah, Yankee, you do this, dude. I'll throw you.
They lend them 6 million USD to buy 60 million S. When S goes back to 20 cents, they sell half, pay back the loan, give the remaining 30 million S back to the users. And on top of all that, S goes back to 20 cents.
Give this man a job, dude. What? Come on, man. Yankee's keyed in, dude.
I mean, that's the thing. Like,
Yankee's got my vote, full support.
It's like, you know, it's like I said, even talking about these ideas, it's like, it's hard because then it's like a counter could go like in a million different directions, right? So
yeah. Oh, one second, let me switch out the battery.
But I don't know. Like I said, I guess we will see pretty soon here if it's going to go to snapshot. I don't know how long the vote will go for once it's in snapshot. But I can tell it's going to be a polarizing issue here when you know, once like it's all said and done. Whichever way it goes, it's going to be very polarizing.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's going to be very polarizing. But I do think there's some opportunities here to actually knock this out of the park. You know, so like I think this could be very beneficial. Not beneficial. Look, it sucks that people got exploited, but I think this could be an opportunity to really rebuild trust with the community, projects, and kind of turn things around here a little bit. With smart deployment of the tokens, maybe some smart utilization of the treasury. But I guess we'll see, dude. We'll see. Labs has said that they're not weighing in on this one at all. So that's something. It's up to us to rip each other apart over this.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm sure we'll be still talking about this next week. Because I guess by then it'll be in snapshot or whatever. So
yeah. Now I want to highlight my poster of the week here. This is the top poster of the week. He did it again. DoctorDeFi had a really great write up here, I think. What moved the chain this week, dude? So he's got a little summary of all the news. Have you seen this, Drake?
I haven't seen this yet.
He kind of just pulled everything out here. Pretty much all the kind of interesting stuff happening on the network. Very good summary. All the points of contention community-wise. I want to talk a little about this one because we all know I'm a Spookyswap shill for the day, dude. For the time being, as long as my perps account is on the up and up over there, as long as I keep running it up, the moment I get liquidated, deleting referral code Corval forever. But
no, Corval's keeping the lights on over there.
Yeah, keeping the lights on with my Spookyswap perps account, dude. Is how I eat every day. Now, so they just brought what do you call it? Decentralized stop loss and take profit orders through Spooky's swap interface. Pretty exciting, pretty fun. They're coming to be some of the first to do it. I think, stop me if I'm wrong, but I could have sworn I'd used the decks that had these before. Stop loss.
Well, it's because it's also on let's see if this says it here. I'm under the impression it's on like spot purchases. But yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, I've seen this kind of automation before, but yeah, I mean, stop losses, take profits on spot on the decks is pretty nice. Not gonna lie there.
Like you're trading a little bit better on my own shit, you know? Another little news, little protocol news here. Shadow Exchange adding $3,000 in incentives to the staked SS pool to help restore this critical liquidity asset. They're getting a little flack for this, I noticed, but I think it's just good. Like, why not, dude? Yeah. I don't see the problem here at all.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to help the liquidity, be aligned with the chain, help everybody out. I don't know what's so wrong about that.
I guess that people are just so, look, they've turned against Beets entirely because of this proposal, dude. Look, they just asked a question, guys. All right. Another little news here on the Sonic network. We got a new marketing guy. Have you seen this? Correct. There's a new guy running the Sonic Labs account.
Yeah, I mean, maybe let's see how many posts there are so far, right? Oh, there's us.
A little bit. That's us. So he's already winning in my book. He's already top dog. You know what doesn't experience an outage? Sonic.
3, 4. Yeah, I don't know. How many days as the new guy taking over? Like, okay, December 3rd. So a couple days, right?
Yeah, so he's posting.
Returning to not total no comms. Let's talk about these people right here.
Yeah, this is what I really wanted to talk about. This is the future of blockchain, dude. These are the people that are going to save us. These are students at Brooklyn College Computer Science Club.
All right.
Thoughts, feelings? I like it, dude. I like it, dude. I think it's good. I think it's important to bring young people into like approach the collegiate level to try and bring in new people. Who should we get on next, Drac? An exciting builder.
Yeah.
Dude.
Let us know who you want to see. You should join the GMSONIC Telegram. It's our last bastion of hope. It's where we're all teamed up in sharpening spears and building weapons of mass destruction and that kind of stuff. So yeah, join us in there. I was going to share, we made a little very inside baseball little prediction market, not something we're trying to like, you know, pump out to the masses, but if you're in there, you should check it out because people are just kind of coming up with ideas for prediction market stuff that's, like I said, very Sonic oriented, and we'll see how that shakes out. Something to do, but yeah, like I said, thank you for joining us. Join the Telegram. I think that, like I said, we'll have more to talk about on Tuesday, I'm assuming. And you got anything else today, Corval?
That's it. That's all I got, guys. Thank you so much. Please remember to like, retweet, subscribe, leave a comment, you know, everything like that. Help us get the word out a little bit. Leave us feedback, what you'd like us to talk about more, all that sort of stuff. It's an open conversation. Join the TG. Drax in there. I'm in there all the time. We're talking with people. We get a lot of ideas for what to talk about in there. So let your voice be heard, brother. Now, that's all I got. We'll catch you Tuesday.
See you then. Have a good weekend. Don't get chopped up.
GMSONIC is Corval and Dracula Presley. GM.